Hello everybody, Felicia here, back with another layout for CutCardStock Design team. I had made a card with this paper that you see. That is a picture right there of a jellyfish, by the way, not a mushroom. Some people thought it was a mushroom, but it's actually a jellyfish. So anyway, back to that, and I'm taking the scraps that I used to make the card with, that I made with the same cardstock, limeade, lemon drop, and wild cherry, and those are at the in the CutCardStock shop, and they are called the pop toned cardstock, and they come in different kinds of flavors. Flavors and colors, and I say flavors because, man, when I mention these flavors, they sound good because I love lime and I love cherry. So, and then if you mix it in with the lemon drop, oh, that's so good. Anyway, I know I'm talking about the different flavors, but anyway, so I'm taking all of the scraps that I used to make the card with, and I am cutting out a bunch of circles. A bunch of circles, and the circles are kind of like, of course they're going to be in these colors, but they're kind of like bubbles, I would say, in a sense, but not really, because I didn't want it to look like kind of bubbles, and so I threw a couple of ovals, or a few ovals in there as well. And I am going to be using these bubbles and stuff to decorate this layout. So, and this took some time, so it took a while. It took me about a little over an hour to do this layout total. So, but it was fun to do, and I really enjoyed doing the process because I was able to just do what I wanted to do on this, and I loved how it came out. Now, you're probably asking me why the picture of the jellyfish, and there's no blue on the cardstock at all, and that's the whole point. The whole point is to not have the picture and the photo matching exactly with the cardstock that I'm using. The only cardstock that it does match is the white, which you see me right there punching out, and that is one of the reasons why I chose to use some of the white to offset all of the colors. And of course, it's in a white background. So I have cut so much of these out. I am going to start gluing these down. You see me just use different size punches and different colors and things like that, just in different size circles, just so that I can get this layout to where I want. And there's a strip right there. Now that strip is going to go underneath the picture, but I forgot to glue it down, but I eventually do glue it down, and you're going to see what happens to it later there. But you can see you can do the fishtail look with your square punch. All you have to do is just kind of line it up and make sure it's as even as you can get it. I eyeball a lot of stuff because I'm gonna tell you right now, I hate using rulers because I always end up not having it come out exactly the same for some reason. It's almost like when I measure, I can't remember what the number was, and then I end up messing up, and then it ends up coming out either too small or too big, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I do not like using rulers. So I try to eyeball a lot of stuff, but if I have to use a ruler, then I do, but it takes me many tries over to get it right. I don't know what it is with me and rulers. I don't know. I really can't pinpoint that. But anyway, so I'm taking all these dots and kind of putting them around here, kind of giving myself an idea on what I want. And I end up doing it a little bit different than what you see here. For some reason, I'm not sure why I did it that way, but hey, it is what it is. And I love how this looks, though. It looks kind of cool with all these little bubbles and colors and things like that. I love that look. So now I'm going to start gluing down these pieces here, and pay close attention because they are not going to look the same, unfortunately, because I couldn't remember exactly how I had them down the first time. Oh my gosh. So I have got to go back to taking photos of my stuff so that I can remember. So anyway, but they're all crooked, and they're supposed to be crooked and overlapping, kind of crooked like, and I couldn't remember how I had the red the first time, so I just put it down. As long as they're overlapping and kind of like, off centered and everything like that, that's all that really counted for me right now. So I started gluing down these circles, and trust me, I glued down many circles, and it was kind of therapeutic to be able to do that. I kind of enjoyed the process of taking and figuring out where I want to put the circles and kind of putting it down there. I kind of got a little carried away, I think, with some of the circles, but like I said, this represents bubbles and kind of like underwater-ish there with the picture of the jellyfish that looks like a mushroom. The jellyfish I forgot what kind of jellyfish that was called, but I took that photo years ago at the aquarium, and I had a great camera at that time too, just my regular big old bulky camera, my Canon, and I was getting super super good pictures. I remember that me and that Canon went all over the world, it seems like, when I first got it. And now I don't carry it like that anymore because my iPhone takes just as good of photos. Trust me on this one, because most of the photos that you see me scrap lately are photos that I've taken with my iPhone, and I'm super stoked about that. So what I'm doing right now is I'm scoring where I want this to be folded. So I kind of flip it over and kind of fold it different ways, and I got a lot of fold things in there. It makes it easier to put it down how I want it to go under the layout, and that was the whole plan. The plan was to get that folded into some kind of sort of badge or banner, I'm sorry, where I can put it on there. So you can see I totally forgot to put that underneath the photo for some reason, and so I ended up kind of getting it under there, and it's supposed to be kind of off. It's not supposed to be straight. It's supposed to be off, just like the rest of the layers that I have underneath there. So, and in order for you to see that fishtail, I had to put that circle under there because for some reason I forgot that there was a yellow there, and so that was the whole point. And now I'm just gluing it down so it stays down. So it's got just a little bit of raise there. And then that one I kind of folded it the wrong way, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? So I figured it out and folded it the right way. So I got both banners on both sides, and I am putting down the rest of my circles and things like that. And a lot of them are going to be hanging off of the edge of the page and stuff like that. And this looks so cool. I really like how that looks. I think that I'm going to do this again, but I'm going to do this with a different photo and arrange them just a little bit different. And I think that's what I'm going to do the next time when I use all these circles and things like that. But you can see I'm just putting them down. I'm no rhyme or reason, just putting them down. There's no specific way that I want these to be on this layout. So so, and then some of them I'm layering as well, you can see. And this cardstock, like I said, is pretty cool. I mean, I've thought of so many projects that I could do with all this cardstock that is just ridiculous. And a lot of cutouts and a lot of cut files also as well that I want to be doing with this cardstock. And so I'm going to be thinking of what I'm going to do with that during the summer. And what I also realized is that this cardstock will also make for a good use on my dies. I have dies that are shaped like balloons. I have dies that are shaped like speech bubbles. And I have dies that are shaped like different kinds of squares, triangles, hearts, stars, all that kind of stuff. And I thought this cardstock would make good. I could use it, in other words, for my dies and things like that, which I'm going to do in during this summer and stuff, kind of just fool around with it and just test it out and see how I like it and stuff like that. So I am almost done. And then I found these acetate letters. They were the perfect colors. And then one of them had blue in it, which helped. It kind of pulled the blue out of the photo with the layout. So you'll see me, the Y. The Y, I misplaced it, but I find it later during the mess that I had made. So I find it later after the fact, after I go into the pack and pull out another Y. And that's just typical scrapbooking stuff, I tell you. That is just exactly how we do. So that was what happened with that. Yeah, so I eventually, as you can see there, the Y magically pops up there. I eventually find it. It was on the floor, and I didn't realize that until after the fact, and so I finally got it up there. But I just put jelly as the title. There is no journaling on this layout because I don't really have too much to say about this except the fact that it is a jellyfish, and I do not remember what kind of jellyfish that is. And those were about the size of a small button mushroom. It just looks pretty large right here because I blew it up, but those are not that big. They're like size of a button size mushroom, and they look just like a mushroom. But it was really creepy a little bit looking at these things because I never saw so many of them. There was hundreds of them in the tank at the time, and I've never saw so many of them in a tank ever in my life. So that's what happened with that. So you can tell that I am just like trying to get everything down on this layout that I have. I had some scraps left over too of a flower that I had die cut earlier, and so I decided to go ahead and use that too as well on the layout. So I am getting this all done, and I am super stoked about it because it is almost done. And let's see, what else do I do here? I forgot what I did on the part of this layout. Oh, I know what I do. I do something different too. I end up putting, because I like all the dots and the circles and things on here on the layout, and I liked how I put the jelly down on the layout, the title. And I don't know where those acetate, I think those came from, oh gosh, let's see, I think it's Studio Calico, if I'm not mistaken. That's where those came from. So yeah, that's where they came from. I just couldn't remember. Yeah, so now I'm cutting off all the stuff that's hanging off the edge here. I'm getting it all cut off and making it look nice and neat. And I didn't, there was something about it that was bothering me a little bit about the whole entire layout. So what I decided to do was I decided to, I added those little flower things on there just because. But what I decided to do, which you're going to see here in a minute, was add some sequences on there to give it a little spark, you know, a little sparkle there. Because I figured that the sequences would help a little bit, you know, just to give it some character and everything like that. So that's what I decided to do with this layout here. So I am pulling out, and I use, oh my gosh, the rest of this sequence. Okay, now that's 3 things real quick that I just want to say that I have used since I started back in my scrapbooking room, since the summer began, since school was out, as a matter of fact. I used a whole roll of washi tape. I used a whole pack of die cuts, of ephemera die cuts. Oh my gosh, because I made a bunch of these little tag holder thingies, and now I'm used a whole pack of sequins. Oh man, this is exciting. It's exciting to get it all used up. So right now I'm putting some glue on here and I'm adding the sequences on. I think I should do this whole process. I'm not sure, but I kind of wish I hadn't did the whole process. But yeah, it takes me a little bit of time to get those down. So I'm not sure if the whole process is, you know, you could see the whole, you know, oh yeah, you can see me just go ahead and gluing them down, taking my time. Yeah, this is a time consuming process here of, oh, okay, I see. I don't show you the whole process of gluing them down. I think I'm on the last few here, and I'm putting them down on the layout here. Alrighty, so I want to thank you guys so much for stopping by, and be sure to check out Cut Cardstock because they have a lot of good deals on their cardstock. Not only do they have a lot of different colors and all the colors you pretty much going to need, they also give you a pretty good deal. And right now, if you go to the site, the pop tone cardstock is on sale, so go ahead and check it out. I think, what is it, June 2nd? I think it's going to be still on sale this whole month of June. I'm not quite sure, don't quote me on that. So but go ahead and check it out. I mean, there's other things there that you can get good bargains. I mean, even if it's not on sale, you still get a good bargain with this cardstock. So I would go ahead and check it out if I were you, and then, you know, that way you can get, you know, all kinds of different card stocks and stuff like that. So what I did was, the reason why you didn't see the layout is because I went over and I cut it down, because that's what it needed right there. It needed something else to help it, and so that's exactly what I did, and I chose to do that right there, is cut it down a little bit, which means that I cut off a little bit of the fishtail on the if you're facing the layout on the left side there, but it's okay because it still came out just fine, and I wasn't too concerned about it. But yeah, I had to do it because it was something that was missing, and I figured it out. So that's what it was right there, and I'm glad I did it like that because I like it better this way. Of course, you know, we're like I said, we're scrapbookers and we're picky about what we, you know, choose and do and everything. So alrighty, so I am finished with this layout. I am clearing off my table now so that I can take a photo of it, of course, and then I take some ink and I kind of just dab around the white just a little bit to not so it's not sticking out so much. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great and wonderful scrappy week. Be sure to use your scraps, and don't forget to go to the Cut Cardstock shop so you can pick out your own cardstock. Have a great scrappy week, guys. Bye-bye.